Karma.
While the teacher didn't come, I was mulling over the things he told me. It was clear to me that the destiny of the person depends on his acts. But I was haunted by a case of a serious illness at the baby. Why has it got so difficult, destiny, especially in this life? Why it didn't get such hard destiny in antecedents?
How do you think what the person has to learn?
The teacher came suddenly as always. However, I had already begun to get used to his manner to appear unexpectedly. I began to argue as follows. The person has to learn much in his life. If his soul came from fauna, that means the person has to learn to live in society of people. The person has to acquire that knowledge which are known to mankind. The person has to improve his soul.
Correctly. God loves inquisitive and hardworking people. But the most important is the fact that the person has to learn love. Because the person is created just like God, and God is love. Therefore, each person is given such destiny that he constantly studied something. For this, teachers make programs of training and education of the person and supervise their performance. But many people forget why their souls were sent to earth. They study nothing but only idle and enjoy life. They aren't able to love others and love only themselves. In their souls lives hatred instead of love. Such people distress others much. Such person sins much. Otherwise, it is possible to say that such person makes negative acts.
But after all, life is very difficult. The person can simply be mistaken on ignorance.
We understand it perfectly. Therefore, to each soul we select such destiny which it can cope with. To young soul a lot of things are forgiven. Nevertheless, a soul has to bear responsibility for negative acts. After the death of the person, we estimate the past life of the person and we make it a new program of life. In this program, those sins which the soul made in antecedents will be already considered. Therefore, the person with such soul will have already got more difficult destiny. So there is karma, but karma is not only a punishment for some sins in antecedents. Karma can be encouragement. If the person lived correctly in antecedents, that means we will surely encourage him in his new life.
It is unclear to me why the punishment is transferred to the following life. Really, is it impossible to make so that punishment overtook the person in the current life?
The matter is that the soul can sin much in its life. Human life is short, therefore, the part of punishment for his last sins is transferred to the following life. The person can simply not manage to expiate all his sins.
In that case, why is human life short? Really, is it impossible to make life longer?
It is possible. There was such period on earth when people lived much longer. However, for his long life a man makes much more sins than for the short one. Therefore now we consider inexpedient to give to people a long life. Even for such short life, people manage to do so many nonsenses that then it is necessary to correct them for some following lives. For this reason, there is a karma, punishment for last mistakes.
But it is unfair if I was punished for antecedent sins.
Why?
I don't remember antecedents after all. I don't know what sins I made at that time. Why have I be responsible for antecedent sins if I remember nothing about them?
The matter is that your soul remembers all its lives on earth. Memory of antecedents is stored in the soul. Your soul remembers antecedents, and you don't remember them. It is made specially. We specially close memory of antecedents to people.
But for what?
First, the memory of antecedents can prevent the person strongly to live now. Imagine that your soul is more right, lived 200 years ago. Then there was no electricity, there was no television, there were no computers. Life of people was absolutely another. So there won't be any advantages from this knowledge to you. Secondly, we close memory of antecedents not to injure the mentality of people. It is the mercy act for our part.
Why do you name it the Mercy Act?
Imagine that in antecedents you killed any person. Memory of it would haunt you. And if you met again in this life, and if that person wanted to revenge you, do you represent what would begin then? So thus, both of you are given a chance to start with a clean slate. By the way, did you pay attention that some people aren't pleasant to you for no apparent reason, and others on the contrary cause sympathy?
Yes, I have noticed it.
It is quite possible that we specially brought you with people from your antecedents together, though you don't remember them, but your soul recognizes the other soul at once. Some soulmates can meet some lives in a row.
Communicating with people, I paid attention that many people complain of the destiny. People say that they got a very hard destiny. Why are people given such heartrending experiences?
It is easy to find the answer to this question if to give an example from the life of any person. When the child goes to school to the first class, it has to acquire the school program. The child can study badly, but all the same, it will be transferred to the second class. But in the second class, the training program is more difficult already. There will be much more difficult to study there. The child acquired a material of the first class not so well, and it is necessary to acquire a new material too. It turns out that it is necessary to work twice harder to make up for lost time. Approximately the same is happening to a soul. The soul lived the first life, but thus had already earned a karma for the second life. In the following life, it is possible to make new mistakes. The karma for the following life will be earned.
But after all, can errors be corrected?
It is possible. The program is so formed as well, but a person corrects his errors of antecedents through challenges and sufferings in this life. Mistakes promote a difficult destiny. Troubles pour on the person as from the horn of abundance.
But some people don't pass their challenges and even make suicides. Unless is it impossible to give less challenges to the person?
It is always necessary to remember that God doesn't give challenges above one's strength. If you got a difficult destiny, that means it is necessary to overcome all difficulties courageously. Through the difficult destiny, God gives a chance to the person to expiate his sins quicker.
It turns out to be a vicious circle. In one life of a man did nonsenses, earned a karma. In the following life he did nonsenses again and earned a karma. It can last infinitely after all.
It really can last long enough. But everyone has to understand that God can't wait a month of Sundays while a soul will expiate all its sins. Sooner or later there comes payment for a soul.
What payment?
At all, I don't know how to explain it to you that you understood everything correctly. It can't be explained into words. We will talk about it next time.
Paradise
and hell.
When Gene died, he found himself in the most beautiful place where everything was free, convenient, and as he always dreamed about. Somebody in white clothes came nearer to him and proclaimed, "You have a right to demand what you wish, any entertainments, pleasure, tasty food." The pleased Gene began to live as he always dreamed, and after many years he addressed to a being in white clothes. I have already taken pleasure in everything that I wanted. Now I need to work to feel useful. I sympathize with you very much, the being answered. But this is the only thing that I can't provide you. It's impossible to find any work here. Is it so? Am I doomed to pine with boredom without end? I don't think so. It would be 1,000 times better to get to a hell. The being in the white came nearer and said, hardly audible, "And where do you think you are?" Joke. I looked forward a new meeting with the teacher. Each time I learned something new. But today for some reason the teacher didn't hurry to tell me something, and began the conversation so.
Before I will continue the story, I would like to learn your opinion on one question. On Earth there live different people. Some make many sins for their lives, and others almost don't sin. Tell me, where will the soul of these people get after death?
This question was not difficult for me. Even I, the atheist, knew that souls of righteous persons get to paradise, and souls of sinners go to a hell. So I answered the teacher. Such answer was pleasant to my teacher. He quickened at once and asked me to tell him about paradise. Paradise is similar to the fine garden filled with marvelous trees, smelling sweet flowers and miraculously singing birds. In paradise, there are no diseases and sufferings. The soul which has got to paradise feels pleasure. It does nothing and enjoys paradise life.
And what do they do on these frying pans?
The hell is a place for sinners. Guilty souls suffer eternally in a hell. There are big coppers with water. Devils make a fire under a copper, and when water will begin to boil, they throw guilty souls there. Also, there are big frying pans on fires. Guilty souls also get there.
And what do they do on these frying pans?
They are fried there.
As sausage.
Much worse. Sausage is fried and removed from a frying pan, and guilty souls are fried eternally.
Look, how interesting. I'm simply a boor in comparison with you. I've never seen anything similar. Where have you learned such things?
Well, it is known to everyone. The teacher made a small pause. While the teacher was silent, I was thinking with pride how fine I answered all his questions this time. However, I had an unclear feeling of discomfort, as though I hadn't taken anything important into account. I remembered the whole conversation with the teacher once again. And suddenly I remembered how the teacher told me that he hadn't seen anything similar. Such answer of the teacher seemed strange to me. The teacher is in the inner world and didn't see a hell. Maybe he doesn't let there. Such assumptions seemed to me absolutely ridiculous. I got confused absolutely and didn't know any more what to think. At this time the teacher started talking again, but his tone was venomous.
You know, I bared your ignorance for a long time. I got used for a long time to the fact that you don't know elementary things, but I still can't get used to your telling a complete nonsense. From where have you sprung to my cost?
I didn't expect such reaction from the teacher. My feelings were hurt. The teacher lectured me, and I didn't understand at all for what. I took offense at the teacher and answered not very politely to his question. I'm such that was created by God.
Sometimes it seems to me that he underdid you a little.
I didn't understand at all what had happened. After a small pause, the teacher again started talking, but already in peaceful tone.
Don't you know what's up? Everything is arranged a little differently at our place.
And what about paradise? Hell, do you want to say that people thought it up?
Imagine the person who lived 2,000 years ago. Then there was no electricity, there were no TVs, there were no computers, there were no cars. Now imagine for a minute that such person saw your TV. How do you think what would he relate about the TV?
I answered the teacher honestly that I don't know.
Such person would relate that saw a magic mirror.
It was absolutely unclear to me what the teacher wanted to tell me saying that.
The matter is that we gave to people knowledge of the device of the invisible world earlier as well. Earlier people didn't know much, therefore we gave them simpler knowledge. If you sin, you will get to paradise. If you don't sin, you will get to a hell. Everything is simple and clear.
But how in that case do matters stand actually?
Listen, I have enough other work. Do you think I have nothing to do than to spy for you and to watch if you clean teeth in the morning or not? Everything is much simpler. The matter is that we don't supervise a usual everyday life of people. For this purpose, we have automatic devices. The teacher is connected personally only when there are the most important events in human life.
But after all, things do happen in human life. Even in an everyday life, there can suddenly be something.
In that case, the red bulb will light up at me, and I will interfere at once. So don't worry. Everything is under control. We measure a soul of the person after death of the person.
How do you do it?
We judge a soul, but I will tell you about it next time.
Court.
This night was given the sleepless. My imagination drew a soul which sits on a dock and shakes with fear under a look of strict judges. In the morning I hardly got up, without having slept. With the anxious feeling I expected the teacher. The teacher wasn't a long time coming, and told me in crisp voice,
"Good morning. How did you sleep?"
I counted such harmless and habitual greeting for myself as a simple scorn. There was no limit to my indignation. I had been sleeping bad all the night, and I said good morning. I have already been going to state everything that I think of him to the teacher. But the teacher outstripped me.
Look, don't explode with anger. Other case, you will explode, you will die, and at once you will get on court to us.
This time I kept silent. After the sleepless night I had no forces to argue with the teacher. However, the teacher didn't joke anymore and passed to a business.
The matter is that we judge nobody here.
What do you mean saying that you don't judge?
We don't judge as it is imagined by people. The court occurs a little differently. You will judge yourself.
Is that so? How can it be?
Everything is very simple. You will bring the full profile with yourself.
Do you think I would bring any compromising materials on myself?
You will do it as pretty. The matter is that your soul is arranged in such a way that everything that you do, you speak, or you think, is recorded on a life tape. Certainly, this is a conditional name, a life tape. To make it simpler for your understanding, imagine the video recorder in which a film of your life is registering. When a soul of the person comes back to an inner world, this film is rewound back, and we together with the soul examine what acts the person made in his life, from the birth to death, what he said, what he thought. We estimate each behavior of the person. For example, the person loved his parents. For it we will give to the soul 10 points. If the person offended someone, we will take away 10 points. All human life is considered in this way. And then, it is summed up. What the soul gathered more, pluses or minuses. People still name it Last Judgment.
All this is strange. I don't see anything terrible here.
The matter is that nothing can be concealed from us. On earth, a person can behave bad, thinking that nobody sees it. But when the person will die, and his soul will return back, we surely will show all these acts to the soul. We will show not only what the person did, but also what he thought at that. The person can give alms to the other person, having thought at that he was bothered by that beggars. Here we will show to the soul all truth of its life. So tell me, if have you ever been ashamed with your behavior?
Yes, certainly.
Well, approximately such feelings are experienced by a soul when it will take a detached view of its life. We abuse nobody, we simply show how it was in reality. In our world, it is impossible to drown the dictates of conscience, therefore the soul becomes very ashamed. Exactly in it there is a sense of Last Judgment. It's terrible, not because you are judged, but because it's known everything about you.
I think that it is very unpleasant to a soul.
We understand that souls of people are still inexperienced, therefore, we try to calm the soul. We analyze the antecedents together. We show to the soul as it could act in this or that situation. So what happens to the soul is not so much court as the blame storming. Do you know, how is it at military pilots? After educational flights, they deconstruct who and how well carried out the flight tasks. Approximately so happens to the soul. We simply deconstruct together as the soul fly to earth. Have you got any questions?
Tell me, what happens to the soul after court?
And how do you think?
The soul will get to paradise or a hell. There came a pause. This silence seemed to me too suspicious. At last the teacher started talking.
All right, you've persuaded me. To your return, I will surely build for you a small hell. I will put a copper, I will pour their water, prepare wood and make a fire. I will put you into copper, and while you won't learn by heart what I have taught you, you will sit there.
The teacher kept silent, and then told me after a slight pause.
There aren't boiling coppers, heated frying pans, and devils here. Simply people describe our world as they got used to describe the terrestrial world. Actually, after court, the soul gets to the place intended for it in the inner world. This place, the soul deserved by all its previous life. To be more exact, by all its previous lives. In an inner world, there are places worse, and there are places better. For this reason, people also had representations about paradise and a hell. Nevertheless, it's much better to the soul in the inner world than on earth. But after court, each soul first of all wants to return again to earth.
What for? Why?
Having learned the truth about its life, the soul wants to correct those mistakes which it made in its life. However, not always it's possible to return the soul to earth right after court.
But why?
The matter is that a number of souls is much bigger than a number of people. The soul can return to earth only when a new child will be born on earth. Therefore, usually the soul still needs to wait its turn.
How long does the soul have to wait?
Some souls can wait 100 years, and even much more.
So long.
It seems to you long, but time moves on differently for the soul. So 100 years is a small term for it. All this time, it is situated at our place in the invisible world.
Things that the teacher told me was beyond my belief at all. I didn't expect such paradise and hell. Unexpectedly, a simple thought appeared in my mind. If there is no paradise and hell, where is the highest justice then? It turns out that it has no value if you sin or not in life. All souls get to an inner world. Nobody is punished for sins. It turns out that the person can kill other person with impunity. I couldn't agree with it anyway.
Why did you decide that the soul can sin with impunity? I didn't say it.
Wait a minute. You told me that you have no paradise and a hell.
I said that we have no such paradise and such hell, which was thought of by people. I told you that everything is arranged a little differently at our place, but you didn't pay attention to it.
In that case, I understand absolutely nothing.
The matter is that on earth, all people are mixed. The bastard can be near the decent person. The silly can be near the clever. In our invisible world, such things doesn't happen, and each soul takes its place.
Wait a minute. You told me that all souls are in your world, till they won't return to Earth.
Yes, it's so. But the special place is taken away only for souls in our world. We call it a storage of souls.
Strange name for storage.
Well, why is it strange? Look here, you store the products in the fridge that they didn't spoil. The fridge is a storage of your products.
I imagined a big refrigerator in which souls are stored. Maybe it is cold for them there, in that storage. Unexpectedly, the teacher laughed.
Well, what a rich imagination you've got. The soul is not a sausage which can be spoiled. No fridges. Simply the world in which there are souls is similar to the multi-storied building. Each soul gets to its floor or to its level. There is also the highest justice in it. I've already told you that after death of the person, we examine all his life, and for each act, we give him some points. If the person sinned much, his soul will gather many minuses. If the person behaved positive in his life, his soul will gather many pluses. After the court, each soul will get to its level or to its floor of the storage of souls.
What does it mean? Unless does it matter? On what level will get the soul?
Certainly it's important. People say that there are 7 levels of a hell and 7 levels of paradise. It is more precisely to say so. The world in which there are souls has many levels. Number 7 is very conditional. The higher is the level, the better it is. Therefore, each soul tries to rise above. Here the simple principle works. Let's say the person was an idler in life. His soul will get to that level where there will be idlers too. Or, let us say, the person was a murderer in life. His soul will get to such world where there are souls of the same murderers. How do you think? Will it be pleasant to the soul to be in such world?
I think that it'll be not so.
For this reason, souls want to return to Earth quicker to earn more positive points and to rise to higher level. We will surely choose such destiny to the soul that it had an opportunity to gain more positive points. Therefore, the karma is not so much a punishment for the person as an opportunity to correct something in its life. But on Earth, people forget quickly for what their souls returned there. Many people sin again, and instead of pluses earn minuses.
The teacher made a pause, and I was lost in daydreams. It is good that I got acquainted with the teacher. Now he will pick up the better place to meet the highest level.
Don't hope at all. We have no protection here. We also have no money, so we can't be paid a bribe. We have not a terrible but fair court.
But if everything is arranged so, what do souls do in this world? Can they visit each other as it is done by us, people?
Tell me, can you go on vacation to Egypt?
I read stories of travelers about Egypt, but I can't get there. I have no opportunity to go to this surprising country.
Well, there you are. You've answered the question yourself. It is possible to say that at our place, each soul will get to the country which won't be able to leave. but each soul can communicate with other souls if they are at one level. The exception becomes only for suicides.
What happens to such souls?
Such souls get to the empty world. Such world can be compared to the desert. There is nobody around, even no live soul to communicate with.
But why does the soul get to such world?
The matter is that suicide is a refusal of the person of the mission on Earth. When we make the human life program, we usually don't put suicide, though that can be too, into the program. The person who has committed suicide breaks the destiny of many other people. For example, we plan that the person get married. If the person commits suicide, that means his future wife won't meet him anymore. But we plan that she married that person. Now our plans are overset. Destinies of many people are bound with each other, and if one link drops out, all chain of events will tear. We need to put a lot of work to reprogram destinies of all other people. It is a very laborious and difficult work. The soul has to bear responsibility for its acts. Therefore, the punishment for a soul of the suicides is to stay in the empty world in full isolation.
How long will the soul be in this world?
Here the simple rule works. Let's say the person had to live 70 years and committed suicide in 20 years. That means it will be 70 minus 20 equals 50 years in this world.
It's sheer hell.
Exactly. For this reason, suicide is considered to be a heavy sin.
It is interesting to know if it isn't boring for other souls to be in an inner world.
No, it's not boring. The soul has stuff to do in our world. Here, the soul can study something and rise to higher level. Sometimes the soul is released to Earth.
It can't be so.
You can bet on it. For 40 days and for a year after death, a soul can return to the family. Some souls can be on Earth more often, but it can be only with our permission. But many souls don't like to remember their terrestrial life.
But why?
The matter is that terrestrial life for a soul is a heart-rending experience. On Earth, a person can ache, can become an invalid. Many people starve, have no roof over their head. In our world, nothing of it is necessary for a soul. In our world, there are no rains. The sun doesn't bake here. There are no diseases, senility. Souls move to our world by means of thought. By the way, the soul has no hands and feet. Though at first, the soul can be externally similar to the person, but usually it is similar to a small ball for golf in a form. Here, the souls can strike up new acquaintances, and then people in whom these souls were installed can meet on Earth. If after the first acquaintance with the person, you had a feeling of sympathy to it at once, that means your souls could get acquainted in an inner world.
Good stuff. It is as on Earth.
There is some similarity in it, but there are also differences.
What differences?
The matter is that souls don't sleep in this world.
Don't sleep at all.
Absolutely. Only very young souls which were on Earth for the first time are at special level in which they as though sleep. All the others are engaged in something.
But what is it possible to do without hands and without feet?
Anything, even much more than having hands.
That's improbable.
Souls do everything by means of thought. Energy of thought is the strongest energy in the world. By means of this energy, God creates the whole world. Souls also can do a lot of things by means of energy of thought. It's very convenient.
And what in that case do souls at night?
There is no night here.
Is there really no night?
Night is for the person. His sight is so arranged. The soul sees absolutely differently. Here the whole world is shown. Souls also are shown as small lamps. So it's always light here.
I like the story of the teacher very much. But I had one question which I hesitated to ask the teacher. I reflected, as though to ask it more delicately, but absolutely forgot that the teacher could read my thoughts.
I have to disappoint you, but sex also isn't present here.
I was completely dumbfounded by such answer. How it can be that it isn't present?
Very simple. Not at all. Men and women aren't present too.
Well, it is full nonsense. I thought,
The soul is a ball of fire. It has no gender. A soul becomes a man or a woman only when the person will be born on earth. The soul in one life can be a man, in another, a woman. Well, and here, in an inner world, the soul stores all its qualities, both female and man's.
oh, I see. Here it is. What's your paradise? Well, it's not paradise. Is a complete hell.
I warn you at once that everything is arranged a little different at our place than you think. So forget everything that you knew before. You knew not much, so it won't be difficult for you to forget it. And in general, I spent too much time for you. If you don't trust me, read what the people who have visited a condition of clinical death write. Internet can help you. Well, it is time for me to leave.
The teacher's story simply blew me away. I found accounts from eyewitnesses who had experienced clinical death. Modern medicine can sometimes resuscitate such patients. These people's stories were similar. At first, a person sees their body from the outside. Many people don't understand what has happened to them. They see themselves lying there, not breathing and unconscious. Yet they feel perfectly healthy. They suddenly realize that the real person is them, not the one lying there without breathing. They see what the doctors are doing and what they're saying, but those around them don't notice them. They can move around using their thoughts. As soon as they think of a loved one, they are instantly transported to the right place. If a person remains in a state of clinical death for a long time, then their soul leaves the earthly world and flies at tremendous speed to another world, where the soul is already being met. The soul recognizes its relatives and friends who have died before. Often, the soul is told that it has returned too soon. The soul returns to its body, and the person suddenly comes back to life.